All right, we're going to talk about systems of inequalities. So here I have some inequalities written up here. We're just going to talk about graphing them. So if you remember, if we don't have a line here, we're going to have a dashed line, or a dashed boundary, I should say. And if we have a line, we're going to have a solid boundary. So this is going to shade below, this is going to shade above. And here's my first one. Now, I want to go ahead and solve this blue equation for y. So I'm going to go negative y is greater than or equal to negative 2x minus 3, or y is less than or equal to 2x plus 3. So now I'm going to graph these. So I'm going to start by creating my line here. So I'm going to use my y-intercept, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go up 3, put a dot. I'm going to go use my slope now, up 2, over 1. There's my next point. Now I need to decide, am I going to use a solid or dashed line? Well, I see a line, draw a line. So I'm going to use a solid line because this is less than or equal to. It's that equal to part that causes it to be solid. Okay, there's my line, kind of extended out. And now I'm going to shade. So it says y is less than, so I'm going to shade below. And I'm going to just make blue lines here, so I know it's below. Now I'm going to go to my orange marker, and I'm going to graph y is greater than or equal to negative 1/2 x plus 1. So I'm going to plot my y-intercept. Okay, I'm going to go down 1 over 2. There's my next one. Solid or dashed line. Well, it's a solid. Okay, so I'm going to come in here and draw my solid line. Okay, and then I'm greater than. Okay, so I'm greater than, so I'm above. And now the solution is the part of the graph that has both shaded areas. It's the overlap part. So this is my solution set for this, okay? So it's all of this from here all the way over. This whole section is my solution set, okay? So we're going to do one more of these, and then we're going to do an absolute value one. So once again, we want to solve here. So I'm going to subtract my x over. Okay, I'm going to divide by 2. I'm going to get y is less than or equal to negative 1/2 x plus 2. Okay. Now, I'm going to go ahead and graph this. I'm actually going to make this one strictly greater than, so we can see that dash. Y is less than negative 1/2 x plus 2, so I'm going to go up 2. Now I'm going to use my slope, which is negative 1/2, so I'm going to go down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2. There's my points. Solid or dashed line. It's going to be solid because of the equal to. And I am less than, so I'm below. Okay. I'm going to come here, I'm going to graph my next one, so I'm going to use negative 1. And then I'm going to go down 1 over 1. And I'm going to use a dashed line here. Okay. And I'm shading above. So it's going to be kind of this little piece in between here. These are going to come together, and that's going to be that sliver. Now, absolute value. So hopefully you remember how to graph absolute value. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with our linear horizontal line here. So I'm going to go up to 3. I have a horizontal line that says y is less than or equal to 3. So I'm going to draw a solid line over at 3. And I'm going to shade below it. Okay? Now I'm going to go to my absolute value. And if you remember absolute value, what's happening here is when I subtract the 1 inside the absolute value, I'm actually shifting the graph right 1 unit in this case, okay? So it's what makes it 0. So it's going to be 1. If you don't remember what it looks like, pick something besides this, both left on the right. So if I put in 0 here, I have 0 minus 1 is negative 1. Absolute value of negative 1 is 1. Put in 2, I get 1. The absolute value of 1 is 1. Now I have to determine if it's a solid or dashed line, dashed boundaries. So it's a solid because I see a line. I'm going to come here. There's my graph, and it says greater than. Remember, I have to be less than the other, so I'm this little triangle in there. So that's systems of inequalities.